Hey guys, this is another update about, I guess, the behind the scenes and the process and the progress of the Dota dojo. In the last week, I did have a bit of an issue with one of my classes where I was trying an experimental presentation and it didn't really land very well with the students. It seemed like some of the students were disappointed and vocalizing that, and it kind of touched on a bigger picture for me, and it was something that I already kind of knew was brewing, just kind of deep down in terms of moving forward with the whole process of growing the community, expanding upon what we're trying to do, refining approaches, stuff like that. And one of the really tough balances that I just kind of want to discuss in this video is the balance of something I feel like I've seen with a lot of game devs as well, is how much do you listen to the community? It's like really important that you take feedback and that you hear the voice of your community, but it's also like really important that you don't try to do like 10 ideas or even more ideas at once and end up with a shit product. And I think that also applies like as a streamer where, you know, it's actually one of my favorite discussions that Dr. K has gone into, but being a streamer kind of leads to this inevitable clash between, at one extreme, I end up being a narcissist because I can't handle all of this criticism and feedback, and I kind of just need to shut down. And the other extreme is that I basically become like a pushover and like an amalgamation of Twitch chat, and I stop being like my own human being, right? So there's like this really tough balancing act that you have to do, that I've struggled with immensely. I feel like at the very beginning of my streaming career, over time, I slowly but surely kind of caved into what this image of what people wanted to see. Like they thought like this is really entertaining to see this guy rage at people as he coaches them and all of that. And back then I did realize like this just ain't who I am. Like at some point I was like, I don't like this person that I've become on stream. And there's no such, in my head, there's no such thing as like who you are on stream. It's like if you become this person 8 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week, then that's just who you are at that point. So now I've kind of find myself. So what happened was I then kind of went into this year-long period of kind of shooting to the other extreme, where it's like, I'm not going to do anything for anyone else. I'm not going to like cater them and all that kind of stuff. And I think that was probably one of my most off-putting years as like a streamer. Like a lot of people probably saw me seemingly closed off, hostile, combative, defensive. And I feel like the last 2 or 3 years has been a lot more, maybe 4 years at this point. It's hard to keep track of the timeline. I've been working more and more towards like a healthy balance of this. And it's funny because I find myself in the exact same situation with the dojo, where we want to move things forward. We want to adjust our approach. We want to refine things. We want to try new things and then abandon it. And I think anytime, like, meaning it doesn't work as well as we intended, or we have a better idea. And along the way, if we're making that many dynamic changes, there's almost certainly guaranteed to be members, especially in like the paid side, because they're the ones that like are invested, literally, in the community, that are not going to be happy with all the changes that we make. So it's important that we try to listen, but it's also me here saying today that I did fall for the bait in the past of listening to too many things. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to be transparent that I always do read the feedback. And there's a lot of times where like 100 different pieces of feedback will be weighed, just over time in my head. I kind of keep like this arbitrary, okay, how are people feeling about that kind of thing. I even note it down in certain cases. What's the sentiment towards this? And we're kind of just trying to take slow but sure steps forward as we navigate so we don't veer too far off of the path. And so what I'm trying to say is I read your feedback, but I can't promise, nor will I promise, that I will follow through on whatever you're asking. You, like, as an individual particularly. And I guess to give us the benefit of the doubt that we're trying, to make as many people happy as possible, and to, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is also to remind what our goal is with the dojo, which is to really not create an oasis of sorts. Like, it is an oasis within gaming, but it's meant to be an oasis that anyone can access. So I view it as like an oasis that we're creating that's in the middle of a forest. It's not a desert, you know, it's not in the middle of nowhere. I don't want us to be like isolated from everybody else. I want it to be welcoming. I want it to be able to be joined by pretty much anybody, and everybody's given a chance to be a part of it. And to make a positive shift in the way that gaming communities interact, learn, coach, whatever. Discuss things, I actually think is the biggest one. And so I guess just keeping in mind that every change we make is trying to work towards that. And also, of course, having it be done in like a sustainable way long term. Like, we can't commit 50 hours a week to things around the server. So finding like what to do with my time, how I delegate it, where my emphasis is put as an individual. That's why we added another coach this week. He did his first class 2 days ago on Friday, the 24th. Super excited about that. Me and him are also going to be making some content together that you know, no spoilers, but I am pretty stoked about that. Like, I think we have some fantastic ideas, and him and I have very complementary skill sets, like very different strengths when it comes to creating content and organizing our thoughts and the way that we approach Dota. So I do think that's one of the most powerful ways to learn, is to simply discuss Dota or anything else with people, and you hear different approaches, you hear different mindsets, and you can kind of take bits and pieces of each one that works the best for you. And so for me, that's been one of the greatest lessons learned from building this community, is just how many people I've interacted with, how many kind of picking from different philosophies, mindsets, approaches, either from the community members or from the people I'm working with. And adding another coach has then kind of done that to my content creation. And what's really funny is that I then have members of the community that are saying, hey, I'm a teacher. Hey, my wife's a professor. They would love to talk to you about your teaching approach, because it looks like you're really trying to create like a more, not standardized, but like a more official, you know, class structure. And so that's fascinating. I'm looking forward to learning a lot about class structure and how to most effectively help a group of people. And that's a lot of what's going on right now. And I guess there's nothing really like announcement here. It's more of a, hey guys, this is the balance I'm working on. This is the struggle that we're having right now, meaning like just really finding that crucial balance of how we move forward. And we are taking it one step at a time. I'm actually very confident about what we've come to in regards to like making sure the people on the paid side feel properly, you know, I don't want to say compensated for, but whatever the word would be. And that the people on the free side also don't feel like left out with events and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I don't want to drag the video on just for the sake of it. I guess what I want to say as my final message is that we always welcome your feedback, and there's been people that I feel like have kind of held their feedback, and they're worried about either like ratting out their fellow members or making somebody look bad or whatever. And I just want us to know that, or I'd appreciate it if you gave us the benefit of the doubt that everything we're doing is just trying to be for the betterment of the community. And my first approach to almost every case, unless I just feel like I'm not qualified to handle that case, which would require a pretty extreme one for, you know, in the terms of the standard deviations, that we're going to give whoever we talk to, whatever we're working on, a conversation, a dialogue. Nobody's just getting outright booted. Nothing's getting just outright scrapped right away. We're not gonna like flip the world over if you give us feedback that you're nervous to give us that might hurt our feelings or might dampen our excitement about a new idea that we're having. It's like we want to hear from you. That's like the biggest thing. And so we are kind of trying to iron out ways that we can help hear from you in a more maybe like a survey type thing, basically an easier way for you guys to reach out. But for now, my DMs are just always open. And when we did the class, I did get like 7 or 8 DMs from people, and I appreciate those DMs. I didn't respond to most of them just because it's very difficult to respond to everybody, but I did read them. And that's kind of been my approach with pretty much everything here. So I guess my thoughts, I said kind of in conclusion, but this has been an incredibly stressful but ultra rewarding experience. Like, man, this whole process, I've learned so much about myself. I feel like I say that every week, whether it's on camera or not. I'm learning so much about myself, how I handle conflict, how I handle working with other people, how I handle shortcomings, how I handle self-doubt, uncertainty about the future of what I'm trying to accomplish, because I kind of did give up a lot of good things in my life in order to move to something that I felt was more meaningful to me, which is this. So it's exhilarating, it's terrifying, it's a whole bag of emotions that are going on during this whole thing. And I guess I just want to give you guys a little insight into that with today's video. So thanks for watching, and that's my weekly update for October 26th, and I'll see you guys around.